All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action, inside and outside of the ring, backstage current calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about, inactive statuses, injury updates. We talk about, contract negotiations, new signings, extensions. We talk about, promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to the National Wrestling Alliance. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on the show 1,010%. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the show so you guys can get some notifications whenever we all go live. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into our fifth and final segment. We got the New Japan Professional Wrestling Wrestle Dynasty results. I watched highlights. Thought it was pretty badass. Thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, getting into the independent wrestling circuit, I definitely love the, New Japan Professional Wrestling inside, the Tokyo Dome. Inside that dang Tokyo Dome. All right, so without further ado, let's go and talk about some of the matches. All right, first and foremost, we had Persephone, Momo. Oh, God, when it comes to I always mess up with the thing. Momo Watanabe. We had Willow Nightingale against. We had in a fatal four-way match Athena for the International Women's Cup. We saw Momo win, so which was I feel like it was right. It was the right thing to do. Of Stardom, she defeats Willow Nightingale, AEW, Persephone, the CMLL, and Athena Ring of Honor. Willow Nightingale, she's a TBS champion. She's also a former CMLL World Women's Champion as well. Athena too, she's the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion, not just for the men's, but for the women's as well. So, a win like that, that's pretty damn impressive. So, definitely, she should definitely, count her blessings and not, definitely hang her head high after what happened on Saturday. All right, next we have Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara taking on Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sho. Like I said, guys, when it comes to the, I'm not too crazy, for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, the Sons of Texas, Dustin, House of Torture, Sho, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. We're going to call it a Kamarat. But, you saw Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, obviously, successfully defend their titles, which, you kind of knew was going to happen. Well, for me, I knew that was going to happen because this tag team is very, very good. Sammy Guevara in the early ages of AEW, and like I've told you guys before recently, since you've seen AEW kind of have Dynamite being able to stream on HBO Max, I've been watching a lot of old episodes, even when like Cody Rhodes was there and like, CM Punk. And Sammy Guevara was like that prince that was promised. And he was supposed to be like, I feel like he was supposed to be like the face, kind of like where you had Randy Orton team up with like, Evolution and Triple H. And, then you saw Randy Orton kind of be that, 14-time world champion. But Sammy Guevara, I feel like, he kind of fell off the face of the planet for quite some time. And now teaming with Dustin Rhodes, nothing against the Sons of Texas. But, I feel like Sammy could have, he could have a lot more potential. But that's just, being me. We had a Lucha Libre gauntlet match. We had an 8-man Lucha Libre. We had Taji Ishimori defeat Hechicero, Kotsi Fujita. We had he also defeated Soberano Jr., Master Wado, Master Wado. We had Mascara Dorado. We had Titan. We had El Desperado. So we had Taji Ishimori win that 8-man Lucha Libre Gauntlet match. So obviously congrats to that guy. We saw Katsuyori Shibata and Hiroshi Tanahashi in a special exhibition match. I think this was the grappling match that it went to a draw. Which is kind of the style of New Japan Professional Wrestling, which is something that's like in terms of watching wrestling my whole life, it's like, oh, a draw, what the hell, that never happens. But this match was pretty badass. It was pretty great. I definitely think both of these superstars, obviously represented that Japanese style kind of wrestling, or scratch that, even that independent wrestling super well. Katsuhiro Shibata, definitely one of my favorite wrestlers. When you see him on AEW from time to time, or on Rampage or Saturday Night Collision, I get a little excited. But Tanahashi as well. Damn, nothing's more special than Tanahashi. I like Hiroshi because he finds a way to, watching highlights and stuff like that, he finds a way to ultimately use what the opponent is giving him. Like, he kind of uses their strengths to his own advantage. Like, he's kind of like that slippery, he's kind of like that snake oil salesman that, he'll lullaby you to sleep inside the ring, and then bam, out of nowhere, he'll hit you with like a major suplex, a submission, or just anything off the top rope. So, two of these superstars definitely, instant classic to watch. Make sure you guys have any free time to, check out that match on YouTube. Mercedes Moné defeats Mina Shirakawa for the British Women's World Championship. And now she has 3 belts. 3 or 4 belts. I'm not too sure. But Shirakawa, I thought this was her time. I really honestly did. I thought, in New Japan Professional Wrestling, her being the women's strong champion, it would just fit so damn well. But, I'm not trying to be a jerk, or I'm not trying to be a dictator or anything like that. Tony Khan loves to give Mercedes Moné all the titles in the world. And, I'm not trying to take anything away from Mercedes Moné's, her gift inside the ring. But ultimately, I feel like the women's division on AEW is kind of crippled because Tony Khan keeps giving Mercedes Moné win after win after win. When you saw Julia Hart or Willow Nightingale defending that TBS championship, you saw people from all over, and you saw great matches. But if you have them in matches against Mercedes Moné where you're kind of thinking to yourself, it's like, all right, Mercedes is just going to win anyways. It doesn't really make it that exciting. I wanted to see Mina Shirakawa come out the victor of this one, but since she didn't, like I said, not trying to throw any shade or anything like that, definitely got to give some respect and some love to Mercedes Moné, the CEO of professional wrestling and the self-proclaimed best women's wrestler in the entire world. So, congratulations to Mercedes Moné. All right, we had David Finlay in a singles match about to take on, Brody King. And, surprisingly, you saw Brody King, he looks big, he looks bad, and I thought he was going to pick up this match. I thought he was going to win pretty easily. But Finlay, I got to be honest, kind of got me going. He's kind of like that awesome underdog not underdog, and I don't want to say that because I don't want to be misconstruing anything. But, he did what he had to do to take on that big guy. So, you got to respect David right there. I thought that was a pretty awesome match. I thought it was pretty good. Brody King, all respect to him as well. I definitely love how, the House of Black recently has been kind of being, before, I have not seen, or maybe because I haven't really been, I watch Rampage here and there in Collision, but, what's up with Malachi Black? What's up with all that, what's up with Buddy Matthews? And then Brody King, too. What's going on with all those guys? But overall, it was kind of cool to see Finlay pick up the dub there. All right, next we have Shota Umino defeat Claudio Castagnoli of the Death Riders. And Castagnoli as well. He's been on a losing streak, which makes me think that maybe in the future he's going to jump toward a Continental Championship match and finally defeat Kazuchika Okada. I feel like that'd be awesome. I feel like that'd be great for Castagnoli, but Umino, definitely one of the best wrestlers in the world, obviously in Japan, in America, outside of, in whatever country. You meet that guy inside the ring, guess what? You're gonna be broken down. He's going to test your strength. He's going to find a way for you to kind of doubt all the wrestling abilities that you've learned inside the squared circle of being trained by big, bad professionals. So, Umino, I like Shota. I feel like he's pretty badass. And I know I might be, pronouncing his name wrong, and I apologize. Umino. So I don't know, I thought that was, pretty good match. Tomohiro Ishii loses against Konosuke Takeshita, never open weight championship and the AEW International Championship. Konosuke Takeshita, this guy literally, within the past couple of months, I feel like he's kind of sprung up overnight. And I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything like that, but I feel like before this whole Don Callis family, and it sucks that he has to join a scumbag like Don Callis to finally achieve success. Tomohiro Ishii, too, this guy's a badass. This guy takes hits. This guy will look you dead in the face and be like, hey, you know what? Punch me, see what happens. Then he punches him. He's like, you know what? Give me one more. He's ruthless. Konosuke Takeshita defeating him. I like it. I feel like it's great. I definitely love the direction that they're going with Takeshita, because before he did this whole, before he was the AEW International Champion, I feel like he was kind of misrepresented. I feel like he could have lived up more to his hype, could have lived up more to his potential. But, on AEW, I feel like when Tony Khan finally got that deal done with the CMLL, New Japan Professional Wrestling, also Ring of Honor, was like, all right, now we're going to make this guy into a total badass who wins and wins and wins. And Konosuke Takeshita defeats Tomohiro Ishii at Wrestle Dynasty. So I definitely, love that. It's pretty cool. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson of the Young Bucks become the IWGP Tag Team Champions. Against Tatsuyuki Naito, Hiromu Takahashi, and Grado Khan and Jeff Cobb. I don't hate the Young Bucks winning gold. I don't. I don't. I personally, and maybe this might kind of dip into my bias of like, hey, dude, I've been recently watching old episodes of AEW. The Young Bucks need to get to their roots. I watched that AEW All Access and Insiders and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, we used to practice in the backyard. We had a wrestling ring. It's in our blood. Hometown boys. From Rancho Cucamonga. That's right in my backyard. I live in Hemet, California. Like, I'm right there, literally. So I could definitely respect these two guys making it into the wrestling industry. Not even just in America, international. These guys are international stars. Maybe it's that bias of the IE. I'm just kidding. No, the Inland Empire. That I'm like, you know what? I want to see these guys do good. And this whole EVP stupid, thing with AEW where they were the bad guys and they controlled the production truck, and they controlled what was happening, and they suspended Hangman Adam Page and attacked Kenny Omega, and Jack Perry as well involved in it. The Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, now the AEW Continental Champion. I want to see the Young Bucks get back to themselves. I want to see them get back to themselves. I don't want to see them be like, oh, we're the EVPs, we're the top nose around here, guys. Guess what? Whatever we say goes. Bam, boom. See ya. We don't want to be ya. Nobody wants to see that. I, as a wrestling fan, do not want to see that. I want to see the Young Bucks be themselves. And them winning the IWGP Championship, I feel like, and I'm not trying to stir any kind of rumors or anything like that, Tony Khan had their characters in this direction that I feel like, and even according to reports, I feel like Matthew and Nicholas Jackson didn't really want this EVP thing. They didn't want to be the heels in AEW. They're like, look, like, Rhodes is gone, Omega's injured, CM Punk is out. We need something to be big. And Tony Khan was like, oh, bright idea right here. Let's turn you guys heel. We'll get, Kaz Okada inside the mix. We'll get Jack Perry, and you guys will be this huge, dominant faction that you guys just run the show and you guys give me a broken neck. Not really. Not really good. Not really any good. Jon Moxley, Death Riders, good. They belong in that spot. Some people belong in that storyline. And Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, I feel like they kind of thought to themselves after Tony Khan came up to them and approached them with that idea. They're like, you know what? Dude, we're simple tag team runners here. We're just trying to, do what we love every day, and we just want to, be. It's my brother. Hey man, how's it going? This is the ultimate dream if you're a wrestling fan, and if you have a brother, becoming tag team champions. And I feel like Tony Khan trying to make a little bit more of the Young Bucks that ultimately, they left. They left AEW. They were like, you know what, we're gone. This and that and the other. Well, obviously kayfabe and AEW storyline. They're like, you know what, we're gone. We're gonna take a little break. And them winning the IWGP Championship, having them spend some time in New Japan, I would not whatsoever bring up anything in terms of the Elite. I feel like when they come back to AEW, Kazuchika Okada probably will not be the AEW Continental Champion. Jack Perry obviously lost his TNT Championship, so it's not really much of a, much of a fray in that, so to speak. You got to break these guys up. You have the right to have a fresh start. New year, new me, 2025. Matthew Nicholas Jackson get back to the roots and become the best Young Bucks that they could possibly be, and it's great for the wrestling universe. All right, we had Jack Perry. Speaking of Jack Perry, trying to gain the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, did not do so. We had Yota Tatsuji defeat him. Obviously, it was actually pretty convincing. Kenny Omega in his first match back, going up against Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd has a mouth on him. He wanted to challenge Randy Orton. He wanted to challenge Cody Rhodes. But then you had one of the best international wrestling stars in the world, Kenny Omega, come back in his return and, lay the smackdown. Definitely love that. In the main event, Zack Sabre Jr. successfully defends his title against Ricochet. Ricochet, on AEW Dynamite, with the scissors, bro. With the scissors against Swerve Strickland. That's nuts. That's absolutely insane in the membrane. Insane, got no brain. But no, it was pretty interesting. And we're going to see more of a darker side of Ricochet. And for one, I'm excited to see it. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable there's going to be some disagreements. It's all water under the bridge already. It's all gravy, baby. Don't even worry about it. Make sure you guys hit up those chats whenever these podcasts go live. Tell us how you feel. Absolutely, 1,010%. Do not hold back. I'm just kidding. No, don't hold back. We have all these other podcasts. If I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have Nelson. We have Jeremy with all around sports, from baseball, hockey, football, basketball, you name it. Maybe there's dodgeball tournaments out there. Who knows? We have the NFL winding down. Make sure you tune into the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny. Also Kenneth of the GSMC Football Podcast. We have college football too. It's bowl season. We got my boy Tommy with the GSMC College Football Podcast. And we have fantasy sports, not just NFL at all right now, because I feel like a lot of the NFL fantasy leagues are, off season. But we have NBA, we have hockey, we have a whole bunch of other sports. Make sure you tune into Chris Shepard's GSMC Fantasy Sports podcast. So make sure you guys do not miss a lick of that action. Make your team into a WWE Championship caliber team. Do not miss it at all whatsoever. Please don't. Please don't. Also, make sure you guys tune into the GSMC book review podcast with Sarah Meckler. Obviously you gotta show some love. Obviously, it's not always about sports on the GSMC podcasting network. Definitely, make sure you guys, look out for a lot of awesome podcasts that we're trying to create. Obviously, with this, heading into the new year, we want to make sure that you guys feel like you're ultimately entertained from sports, from things like book reviews, for things like, who knows? Maybe we'll have a podcast about, how to fix a car, or how to, change a tire. You name it. It's all in the future. It's all gravy, baby. So make sure you guys like, subscribe to this network. You guys will not you guys will not hate subscribing. I give you that Rodriguez guarantee that you guys will be loved. That you guys will love getting all the awesome content that you guys love to consume on a daily basis. So don't regret being a part of this amazing network. Well, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys had a great show. I had a great show. It was pretty awesome. It was kind of cool to be live again once again. I know I kind of went way over the limit. But, obviously, my boy Emran, Godspeed. Hopefully, good stuff's coming his way. Many blessings. So yeah, first and foremost, stay beautiful. And of course, as always, love you.